Hi, I'm Real Deal MMA, and in this video, we're going to be breaking down the Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury fight that's happening this weekend. 8 rounds, everything on the line. These two have been at each other for ages. So let's get down to it. Let's break down this fight that everyone's talking about. And I've got some controversial views about this fight. So let's get into it. So this fight is finally on. We got the YouTuber Jake Paul, now boxer, versus the amateur boxer, now celeb, now boxer again, pro boxer. They both class themselves as elite professional boxers. Jake Paul says he's going to dominate boxing. You know, Jake Paul, whether you love him or hate him, is absolutely brilliant on the microphone. And this is why this fight is so big. So, Tyson Fury's younger brother, he's very popular in the UK. He gets a lot of attention. He's a great ticket seller. But is he a good boxer? Well, we're going to have a look at that. We're going to have a breakdown of how he fights, what his style is, and why it's very different to Jake Paul's. So, both fighters are similar ages. Jake Paul is actually 3 years older than Tommy, at 26 years old. He also has a slight advantage. Fury has a 4-inch reach advantage. They're both orthodox stance. But as I've said, two very different styles of boxing. But if this was a street fight, I would pick Jake Paul all day. I'd pick him because he's got that power. He's got more hunger. And he's very aggressive. But this is no street fight. This is 8 rounds under boxing rules. We have a lot of questions about this fight. Have we ever really seen either of these two tested? Have we seen them really hurt? We haven't. We don't really know what their chins are like. Tommy Fury, he hasn't fought anyone, really, that has the power of Jake Paul. So all we know, this kid could have a glass chin. The first shot and he could be down. I think that's unlikely. I think he'll be more durable. I think that he does train with people that are better than the fighters that he's fought on his record. And you would expect him to have some competition when he's sparring. You know, he is a Fury. He's going to have access to some really good sparring and training. But there are so many question marks about both of these guys. And a lot of questions with Jake Paul. So many people claiming that some of his fights look scripted. Maybe even fixed. The Woodley fight. It was strange because some people said it looked like Jake Paul gave him a bit of a sign and Woodley dropped his hands and then we saw the brutal knockout. Now, maybe that's a bit tinfoil hat, but I have to say, it did look a little bit suspicious to me. We see some crazy things go on with boxing, especially celeb boxing. So I think anything is up for discussion here. And we have to factor that in here. I would not be surprised at all if we see some quite controversial things happen in this fight. A draw would not surprise me at all. And why wouldn't that surprise me? Because a draw would mean a possible trilogy, which would mean both fighters would make a lot more money. Now, if this fight is very much one-sided, there's not going to be a lot of hunger. A lot of people really aren't going to be bothered about a rematch if it's so one-sided. So I think that a draw is not out of the question here.
So not the right hand. So I'm praying for him. Ready? Right. Ready? So there's a jab. Oh, and that's what would happen in the ring.
Oh my God.
And that is with the jab.
Oh, just the jab.
That's the jab. That's the jab. It's what I say, if I threw the right hand, he wouldn't be showing up. That's all I can say. So, yeah. Yeah.
Jake, what are you saying, bro? You're gonna have that. He jabbed you in your face. Clean. Jabbed you out, my guy.
Everyone is talking about the power disadvantage that Tommy Fury supposedly has here, but I'm not so sure about that one. Now, I saw these videos, and yes, they are just punching machines, but I do think that people are underestimating Tommy Fury's power. So if we look at this, he actually gets a higher score than his brother, the heavyweight, Tyson Fury. He even gets a high score with his jab. And there's been training partners that have said that this kid's jab is powerful. We saw him cut up one of his recent opponents with the jab. He has speed, and I believe that we haven't fully seen the best of this guy and his power. Now, Jake Paul, from what we've seen, obviously has a lot of power. But he does seem to throw the same combos. Now, someone like Tommy Fury, I would think would have the footwork to get out of range and to pick Jake Paul off with the jab and use the body work effectively. But if he fights in the pocket with Jake Paul, then he could be in serious trouble here. I think he will have a lot of success, and I think that he will actually hurt Jake Paul here. I think that there's a very likely that both of them get hurt. We could see multiple knockdowns here. But this is 8 rounds. Tommy hasn't shown that much aggression. Even when he's hurt his opponent, he doesn't seem to be totally, really that aggressive. He likes to pick off his opponent. He's got quick hands, but he can be quite stationary in the pocket. And as we've said, that might be his undoing here. With regards to their cardio, Tommy Fury's cardio for me, I think it's okay, but there are slight red flags. He does seem to be quite lazy sometimes and take little breaks in fights, even against low opponents. Now, with Jake Paul, his cardio so far looks pretty good, and this guy is very, very fit. He's always training, and he's incredibly hungry. But this could be a different fight where Jake Paul completely gets outboxed. I mean, that is a scenario here. He's fighting someone from the eye test, looks like he can box. Jake Paul hasn't fought a proper boxer yet. He's fought MMA fighters like Woodley. Woodley can't box. He was never a good boxer as an MMA fighter. He had power early in his career, but he was never a good boxer. There's certain fighters from MMA that could come over to boxing and they would have success against lower level opponents. But Woodley was never going to be one of those fighters. So in part it was kind of a layup really, an easier fight for Jake Paul. Anderson Silva was definitely a step up, but Anderson Silva is so old, so past it. And again, there were a lot of question marks about that fight. Look, I'll give Jake Paul the benefit of doubt. Maybe he does have this huge power, but I believe Tommy Fury is a much better boxer than the opponents that Jake Paul has fought so far. So those of you that are interested in the betting side of this, we've currently got Jake Paul as a 1.91. So in American odds, that's minus 110. In fractional, it's 10 to 11. So that's 52% implied probability. So they're basically saying that it's a pick'em. It's very close. Seems to be that there's some money that's come in on Tommy Fury. If we look at the method of victory, then Paul to win by KO is 3.75. If we look at Paul by decision, it's the same odds at 3.75. Fury to win by KO is 3.65. Fury to win by decision is 7. So if you were to put $10 on, or £10 on Fury to win by decision, you'd win 60 back. I think that line is quite a bit out. I don't think that in an 8-round fight that Fury by decision should be 7-0. That should be such a big number. You know, that's plus 600 in American or 6-1 in fractional. They're saying that's only 14% likely that Tommy Fury wins by decision. I disagree with that. And I think that might be an interesting small bet to play here. Because that line is definitely off. But you've got to understand there's a lot of people that are gambling on this fight that don't normally gamble. You know, this is a fight that a lot of people are going to be placing money on. So sometimes in fights like this, you can get quite a lot of value because everyone bets the KO. This is 8 rounds. We've never seen Tommy Fury knocked out. We've never seen Jake Paul really that hurt in fights before. So I do think that's out. But again, it's a big number for a reason. The likelihood is this probably does go inside the distance, although I don't think it does personally. My pick is this actually does, we do see the 8 rounds. But most people disagree with me and they're saying this fight goes under. But I think from a money line betting point of view, I think there's still a bit of value on Tommy Fury as the underdog here. He's around 240. So that's plus 140 in American odds. I think Tommy Fury should be the favourite here, not the underdog. I know he's fought the much worse opponents, but I do believe him to be the better boxer. But there is risk betting money on this fight. There's so many unknowns. There's also the risk of some kind of strange occurrence happening. Maybe there is some kind of deal between them. Maybe we do see a draw. Who knows? I think it's going to be a really fun fight either way. But my prediction is Tommy Fury wins a controversial split decision. I've been Real Deal MMA and enjoy the fight. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be fun. I think there's going to be fireworks. So, if you can subscribe to my video and like the video, there's plenty more videos coming your way. And enjoy the fight.